All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Another episode of the Always Chillin' Podcast. Skinny Dean the Sandman in the barbershop. Once again, you've been working hard on a list
Yeah, man.
of stuff you want to talk about. So let's hit it, man. You've been writing stuff. It's all pretty good. So
Yeah, man. I don't know where to begin. Well, let's first we just talked about it.
yeah,
MOS. Is that all across, or is that just
I
military
think
or Marine Corps?
it's all across the whole
Okay.
military.
MOS is
MOS.
your,
It means military occupational specialty.
okay. Why
That's
ain't
what
it
it
just
means.
JOB?
I don't know, man. I wasn't there because I know
Just job.
everything just has to be an acronym.
Everything's an acronym, an initial.
Yeah, I think they just like making stuff acronyms, man.
Okay, I can dig it.
Honestly, like it could just be job.
So
It probably wouldn't make a difference if it was just job.
I guess so.
So yeah, it could be. I don't know why it is that, but it means military occupational specialty.
Military occupational specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it sounds better.
I mean, it's-
It
that's,
does sound.
that's the same as job.
Does sound
I
a whole
guess.
lot. That's like sanitation.
Yeah, it's like fancy. Yeah.
specialist.
Mm-hmm.
Fancy word for janitor. I can dig it. Yeah, that one just that was funny to me. MOS. Why ain't it just JLB?
Mm-hmm.
I can dig it though. But yeah, man, I got a long list, man.
Yeah, let's hit it, man.
I've been wanting to ask you this.
Mm.
Like I said, I hear a lot of people ask questions, but how long was it before your first firefight, dog, after you landed in Afghanistan? Week, 2 month?
I don't know. It probably wasn't. It probably wasn't super long. So when you first get there, you do it's called a RIP, another acronym. It's called a RIP, an RIP, relief in place. It means. So the dudes that were there already for the last like 8 months or whatever, they're leaving and you're showing up. So they need to like it's like on the job training basically.
Okay.
So like when you show up, half of your platoon will go out with half of the platoon that's been there for a while, and then they like take you around and show you this stuff. Like, oh, this is, whatever. Like this is we got shot at pretty bad over here. This spot over here is
A
pretty
ride
cool.
along.
Yeah, like over here we did this over here. They just take you around and like talk about what they did the whole time. And usually nothing happens during those because it's like, people tend not to do well. Actually, I say nothing happens during those, but that's when I got blown up when we were doing ours. But because you're not really doing anything, you're kind of just driving around and like you're not doing any missions or anything. You're not like stopping people or interacting with people a ton. It's kind of like because the dudes that are leaving don't really want to do anything, because they're about to leave.
No engagement at all.
Yeah, like and they don't want to risk it. And it's like it's my last week or whatever. That was 2 days from retirement.
Okay.
Type shit.
Okay.
So usually nothing happens during that first little bit, just because it's not. You kind of stay out of trouble, But then after that, it just kind of depends, man. But yeah, I don't remember because there's all kinds of different things. Like you get shot at, or someone would get blown up, or we got mortared like pretty much every day. And I don't remember which one of those happened first, but it was probably only a couple weeks. I talked about the first time we got shot at on the show already. I don't remember what episode that was, but go listen if you haven't listened to
Go
it.
check it out.
I won't say it again. Yeah, I don't remember which one happened first. It was probably only a couple weeks. So.
Couple weeks.
But I don't remember which one happened first. And that's not a couple weeks after we got to Afghanistan, because there's like, so we flew into like a big base, Camp Leatherneck, and it's huge. And then we stayed there for like a couple weeks, and we're just like getting ready to go to the place where we're actually gonna operate. So like on Leatherneck and stuff, we weren't really doing anything. We were just waiting for a plane to go to wherever we were actually gonna go.
But you are armed at this point. You are fully armed though, because you're there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like nothing's good. It's like
Nothing popping.
it's a huge base, and we're just going to the chow hall and eating food and chilling. I was playing a lot of PSP.
Oh shit.
Yeah, yeah, for those couple weeks, because you're just sitting there just waiting for them to arrange like your transport and all that shit.
Yeah, you always thinking,
Yeah,
God,
so
soon as the plane comes in, they
No,
just
so
taking
there's-
fire.
No, so there's a couple weeks. There's a couple weeks on both ends where it's like you're on your way in or you're on your way out, and you're like in Kyrgyzstan or just a bigger base in Afghanistan. Not really doing it. I mean, not doing anything, but like you're just sitting around chilling. There's a couple weeks where like every day they were telling us like, oh, our on the way out, like, oh, our plane's gonna leave today, so everybody needs to be back here by fucking like 7 a.m. Like no exceptions, because like on the way out and on the way in, you have a little bit of freedom to kind of like go do a little bit of stuff because there's nothing going on.
Okay.
Um, but so they were telling us like every day for like 2 weeks, like our plane home is leaving at this time, so be here at this time, and we would show up every day, and they would be like, it's not leaving today.
Damn.
We'll let you know when it's leaving, and then that night they'd be like, our plane is leaving tomorrow, fucking 8 a.m. whatever.
Damn.
Yeah, and then they'd be like, oh, never mind, no, it's not. And there was like 2 weeks of that, so it was probably a couple weeks after we got to we were in Helmand province.
Helmand Province.
Yeah, had a cop pain.
Then how often after that was it? It wasn't like every day that you were under fire.
Like a firefight?
Yeah.
Not those actually weren't super often.
Yeah.
It was mostly like IEDs, and like I say, we were getting mortared like every day, and that's like you can hear it whistling. It's like
You can actually hear that.
yeah,
Shit.
oh yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah. You don't know where it's gonna land, so it's like you're like, it's at first it's scary, and it freaks you out pretty bad, and you like run and hide and stuff. But then I don't know. After a while, it's just like we wouldn't even stop playing spades.
How accurate are those fucking things?
Well, the way they were doing it, not very.
Not good with the equipment.
Yeah,
They
well,
just had
because
it.
they just didn't
Probably
have any.
leftover shit. Anyway.
Well, they didn't have any equipment. Like they were like, sometimes they would like instead of because mortar tubes have like actual like stands and stuff.
Right.
Sometimes they wouldn't have the stands, and they would just be like leaning them up against rocks and shit. So
Damn.
so they weren't very good. But what they would do is they would it's called bracketing, and we would do it too, but we would do it a lot faster than they would. But it's called bracketing. So like you shoot one, and you see if it's short or far, and then so you shoot your first one, and it's like, okay, that was far. So then you adjust really far, and you shoot it again, and then you're probably short that time, and then you just kind of keep going, just like a little bit at a time, and you just kind of walk it in, kind of like converging it.
Damn.
So sometimes we'd be sitting there, and we could tell that they were doing it to us. It'd be like, and it would blow up over there, and then it would blow up because if it doesn't get past you, you can't hear it whistling. So it'd be like blam, and then like a minute later, it would just be like blam over here on this
So
side.
you're almost able to maneuver.
No, we wouldn't even move.
You wouldn't even move.
No, and then one would go over again, and it would be on this side, but a little bit closer. And then one would be on this side, but a little bit closer. And then one would go over on this side and be a little bit closer. And then the last one, you could just like. And then once it got to a certain point, we would fuck off. But
You ain't there no more anyway.
Yeah.
Damn.
yeah, but it happened. I mean, it happens fast. Like it's not like we would sit there for 10 minutes. It would
Right,
happen
right,
over the
right,
course of
right,
a
right,
couple minutes, but.
These motherfuckers are using leftover shit. and
Yeah,
holding
so
it in
that
their
shit was.
hands.
Yeah, that shit was happening like every day.
They had to get fucked up doing
at
that
some
shit.
point. And what they would do sometimes is they would just shoot one into the middle of nowhere or like onto a road kind of or whatever. And then so they would like secure it down and just drop a mortar, and then wherever it landed, like in the crater, they would go plant an IED and then bury it and shit. And then so they would already have that spot marked.
That became their thing.
Yeah, so they already had that spot marked. So then when we would drive over it and a vehicle would blow up, they would just start dropping mortars because they knew that they were going to land like right on that spot.
Okay.
So sometimes they would do shit like that. So there were some times where a vehicle would get blown up, and then we'd start hearing mortars, and we'd be like, this one might kind of suck, actually. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, but firefights didn't happen super duper often. Vehicles got blown up a lot. We would attach these. They were called mine rollers.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like it was basically just like an extra set. Well, not even a set, like an extra bunch of wheels in front of the vehicle. Like it would attach to the front of the vehicle.
Right.
and it would have like 3 rows of wheels out in front of the vehicle. So then it would hit a bomb and that would blow up, but the vehicle would be okay. So you could just take that off and keep driving.
So they're driving into them on purpose.
No, I mean not on purpose. It was kind of just like it's gonna happen.
Oh,
Like like there's
shit.
like it wasn't on purpose, but it was like there's no way it's not gonna
What
happen.
fucking
so we gotta
MOS
start-
is that? Who
um,
drives that?
LAV crewman 0313.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, they go to because my MOS was 0311, which is just an infantry rifleman, just like walking around,
So when they say boots
So
on
they
the
would
ground,
go-
they're talking about you.
Right, 0311. That's 0311. And then the 0313s, they would go to all the 0311 stuff, all the 0311 school and all that shit. And then after that, they would go to another school to learn how to drive the LAVs and shit.
Man.
Yeah, that's why I fucks with 0313s pretty hard.
Yes, sir.
Because so I guess we'll talk about MOSs for a bit. So 03 is infantry. So that's how like they all have codes. Like I don't know what any of the other ones are. I think 01 is some kind of advent or something. But so anything that starts with an 03, that's an infantry MOS, which is like that's boots on the ground people. So 0311 is kind of like the first one, and then there's 0321 is recon, which is kind of like mini special forces now. But then there's like 0331 is a machine gunner, 0341 is a mortarman, 51 is an assaultman. I don't think they have 51s anymore. And then 52s are tow gun. They like shoot missiles. So what would happen is you would go to when you went to School of Infantry, the first like half was the same for everybody.
So everything you just named is infantry. It's
Mhm.
just different.
Yeah,
parts.
so they all start with 03.
Okay.
So that's so if someone says their MOS is 03, and then like those are only for the Marine Corps. So the Army has their own. Like the Army is 11 Bravo would be the same as an 0311.
Okay.
So the Army has their own, and the Navy has their own, and the Air Force has their own. I don't even know shit about the Marine Corps outside of infantry, so I don't know anything about any other branches. But so when you go to School of Infantry, everybody's an 03. Well, like when I signed my contract, it was just for 0300, which just meant that I was going to be infantry, and they were just going to put me wherever they wanted, which ended up being rifleman, which is like, I don't know, it's like the shittiest, like the suckiest one, like you do the most shit that sucks.
Right.
Like, yeah, exactly. So everybody, like I said, the first half of infantry school is the same for everybody. And then they split you off into your group. So they're like 0311s go to 0311 training, and 0341s go to mortarman training, and 31s go to, and the 0311 one is from my understanding like a lot more hiking and shit, and like mortarman and stuff, because you need to learn like math and stuff to be shooting mortars and shit.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more like classroom and shit.
Weather probably. All
Yeah.
that
So
shit.
like at SOI, the 0311s would be like, we'd be gearing up to go out to the field and stuff. We'd be there's like a little courtyard in the barracks, and we'd be putting our packs on and shit, getting ready. We're about to hike fucking 10 miles to a range and go shoot at stuff and get fucked with for 3 days and come back. And they'd be like, oh yeah, we're about to go sit in class and like learn about the guns and stuff, which they had to do. And the part that sucked for the other MOSs was during hikes, they had to carry their like machine guns and mortars and shit.
Oh.
And 11s didn't. We just had to carry a rifle and our packs and stuff. But I mean, everybody helped. Like if somebody got too tired, like people would swap in. So it wasn't even like. So that's the part that sucks for them. But we still helped them
Right.
with that. So yeah.
Damn.
But 0313s, the guys that drive the LAVs that we were in, they went to all the 0311 stuff, and then they went to another school after that. So they were straight up like they were 11s too. So we like sometimes they would have to go on like they would have to drive and shit, and we'd be like, all right, dude, like you got to go on patrol with us too, because we're down him. We're like we'd be down a guy or something, and just have to take one of the drivers or something with us.
Damn. Drive into them. Whoa, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, them some bad motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, and it's like, because it's just like I said, they put those things on the front of the vehicle because they're just like, wait, I mean,
And the vehicle takes it. It's designed to take it.
mm-hmm.
Wow. That has to be
Yeah.
a
I mean, it's
monstrosity of
not
a vehicle.
well, like they usually don't take it. Usually, like all the wheels get blown off, and but usually, like they're designed in such a way where, like we got blown up pretty often, and nobody really from an IED, nobody really got hurt that bad.
I mean, because it's
Yeah.
pretty much a piece of shit. They're just making shit out of
Well,
shit.
no, but like we had dudes get hurt, but nobody died. Nobody in our platoon died. So the vehicles are designed in such a way where like they like send the blast like out and they like blow the wheels off and shit. And they're up armored and stuff, so all the armor
'Cause
blows
there was
off.
a time where they had to rebuild the vehicles specifically for that.
Yeah,
Right?
kind of. The LAVs used to have. Well, I mean, they still do. The bottoms of them are flat. And then when the IEDs would hit them, it would like they were like fucking like flipping them, and the dudes in there were getting all fucked up and dying and shit because they were like the vehicles were squishing them.
Right.
So they, I forget what they were called, D kits or something. I think it was this big, it was this up armor stuff, but it made the bottom shaped like a V, so it screwed onto the bottom, and it made the bottom V shape. So when it exploded, the blast would go like out. It was some physics shit, and then the vehicles weren't getting flipped and stuff anymore. So yeah, the vehicles did kind of get redesigned a little bit.
Right. I would think.
But yeah, so usually like somebody got hurt, like we would have to like we had to medevac people quite a few, like I got medevaced after I got blown up. People who took like shrapnel and stuff sometimes, but nobody got fucked up, like nobody died from IEDs.
Okay.
But they're smart, dude.
That's what I was going to ask you. What I mean,
Like they're not these little piece of shit bombs. They're like
what are they What are they making this shit out of?
well, at first they were making them in like pots, like metal pots. But then like I don't know if I even talked about this, but we would walk around with metal detectors.
Uh-huh.
And that was mine. Like I was in front with the metal detector, like because they were making them with like pots and stuff or whatever,
What a
or
fucking clock
just
going
pieces
in.
of metal. There'd be like they would do pressure plates where it'd be metal, and when you stepped on it, the metal would touch and it would like complete the circuit, with the wiring and shit. So we were walking around with metal detectors, but then they started making them out of wood. So when you would step on them, it was just two pieces of wood that would touch, and then it would make the wires touch.
Wood?
Yeah,
Fucking
and then
wood?
they started putting the actual explosives. They started putting them in ceramic crock pots, so that the metal detectors wouldn't pick that up. So the metal detector, after a certain point, was like,
Useless.
I was like, "This is even doing it?" Because I spent more time digging up like Coke cans and shit than anything.
So contrary to what the news showed us, this ain't just a bunch of motherfuckers running around in bathrobes and sandals. These motherfuckers are quite innovative.
Mm-hmm.
To go from
And there were these. They started making they were using mortar tubes and they were filling them with copper. And then when the bomb would explode, it would heat the copper up and it would basically turn the copper into like a bullet, and it would go straight through armor. Like it would be like this super molten copper that would shoot through armor. Yeah, when we got there, they briefed us about all this shit. Like this is the stuff you need to look out for.
these motherfuckers figured
We
it out.
were we were walking through this valley, I remember one day, and I don't remember who saw it, but someone's like someone saw a tripwire. Like some fucking Rambo shit.
Right.
Like it was going across the road, but we didn't walk on the road.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, for that exact
For that
reason, because
exact
the
reason.
bombs and stuff are on the road. But even then, they started noticing that we were doing that, and they would put the pressure plates off on the sides of the road instead of on the road, because they would watch. Like they would put the bomb and then they would watch it, and then because sometimes they were remote and they would blow them
Right.
themselves. But yeah, like there was tripwires. They were they would do the tube thing and put it in the side of a hill. And then, so like when you hit the tripwire, it would like blow you. It would like shoot out the side of the hill at you. It wouldn't come out of the ground. It would like
Come out of the fucking hill.
it would come out from the side and like blow your head off.
Like you're right, head fucking height.
Yeah.
Damn. I guess
Yeah, so they would watch and they'd be like, I mean, they're like fucking scientists, man, like the scientific method and shit.
I
know?
guess
Like,
so. Yeah. Like I said, it was a bunch of motherfuckers
like,
running around in bathrobes.
they're
and
like, oh,
sandals.
well, they're like that didn't work. So, and then they saw that we were using the mine roller things on the front of the vehicles, right?
Right.
So they would put the pressure plate like 20 feet in front, and then they would bury the bomb back, so the bomb would still blow.
A little delay.
So the bomb would still blow on the vehicle instead of blowing the mine roller. Yeah.
Damn.
And they would there were daisy chains. Sometimes there would be one pressure plate that would blow, like there'd be 4 IEDs wired to it, and it would just be like yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, so we had these things. I mean, we didn't have them. It was the engineers. We would call in engineers and stuff. I don't know what MOS that is, but they had these things called MCLICs, MCLIC, I think. But they would. It was just this big box that they pulled around, and it would shoot a big. It would like a rope. So they would, if we were going into it, there was. I'm getting all. I'm trying to figure out how far I need to back up. So we were going on a mission where we knew for sure that there was going to be resistance. We were going into a big city.
Right.
Well, I mean, a big city as far as Afghanistan goes. Outside of Kabul, there's not a lot, but the biggest city that we had, it was like a big village, not a big city. So they called in these people to do these MCLICs, and basically what it was is, so they before anybody would go down any of the streets, they would shoot these MCLICs down the road. So it was like they would pull it and it would shoot like this big rope that would just shoot down the street, and it had bombs tied to it. So the whole way it was dropping, like it just shot a bunch of bombs that are all tied together down a road, and then they would just blow it up. So before anybody walked down it, this is how they would make sure that there's no bombs there, is they would just blow them up.
So if there was a wire, the rope's heavy enough to trip that, but at the same time, we blasting y'all's asses too.
Right. I don't think the rope is heavy enough to trip it, but if we were just blowing the whole street up
Off top.
before anybody
Off
went there.
top.
Like the only way to make sure the street's not going to blow up on us is if we blow it up
Blow up their shit.
first. Yeah, so they would blow these MCLICs, and we would just be sitting there listening to it, and it would be like, and we'd be like, oh, that's a pretty good one. But sometimes they would be like, there'd be an extra like boom in there. We'd be like, damn, they got one.
And that's where you hit their shit.
Yeah, like
Okay.
we'd be like, fuck, they got one. But we were just like, it was so fucking weird because we were just like sitting there chilling, man. We're just like smoking cigarettes, like just waiting for him to do these MCLICs before we go anywhere. It's really surreal to think about now.
I mean, you explaining that to me, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, like no big fucking deal. We're just like
We're
we're sitting there chilling
every day. This is an everyday thing. Damn, that's a trip.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't every day. We didn't have that stuff very often. Usually it was just me with a metal detector. But
damn, you was that dude?
yeah,
Woo.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
They trusted me.
I guess so. Shit.
I feel like I've talked about that before, but like, yeah, dude, I'd have that thing. Like,
Nah, you ain't never told me that one, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit.
I had that thing. I still remember how to do it and everything, but
So
I paid really good attention in that class.
wasn't your average metal detector. This motherfucker was built specifically
Yeah, I mean it was
military
it's
grade,
pretty,
Marine Corps grade shit.
well, I mean military grade. Don't
It ain't grandpa down at the
Well,
big hole.
I always think it's funny when like car commercials say military grade or whatever, because military grade is the cheapest possible. Well, it just is, because the government
just looks nice.
Well, the government wants to save money. Like it didn't even look nice. Like my gun was purple because like all the paint had stripped off of it, and it was from like 1987 and shit.
So when you get a weapon you get the weapon issued to you when you get there, or you okay? So there's been 100 guys that's possessed this through 3 different wars.
Yeah, probably.
You ain't getting no new shit.
No, not at all.
Oh my god! Oh shit!
No, it ain't new.
It ain't
None
new.
of it's new. Not like the vehicles, the trucks, all that shit. None of it's new. The LAVs we were driving, those are from the 80s. Like, none of it's new. It all looks new because we would spend, like, dude, we would go to the field And then as soon as we got back, well, it depends on when we got back. If we got back late, we could wait till the next day. But we would be out there with brushes and these like chemicals and shit to make sure that nothing got rusty. Like there's not a speck of rust on any of it because we would spend like we get back from the field and we would spend 8 hours the next day with just brushes, just like
Keeping your shit up to par.
cleaning the whole vehicle.
Okay. Did you have a name for it? Did you name it?
My gun?
Yeah.
No.
No. Is that a thing?
No,
No?
not really.
What was your favorite weapon? You said you touched everything. What was your favorite shit?
I liked the Mark 12. Because I had to carry 2 of them. Because I got the I feel like I talked about this too, but platoons have designated marksmen who get a rifle with like a scope on it
Okay.
and stuff. So I had the metal detector and I was also the designated marksman.
I think we did briefly talk about that.
But that
So-
one was cool because
so
it had a suppressor that you screwed on and
So
shit.
if the
I felt-
sniper couldn't
I
get
felt
there,
really
you
cool.
were the guy that was.
I mean, it wasn't that cool. Like we never had snipers to begin with, but like we never did anything with snipers at all. Snipers was
Never worked with one.
no,
never.
they were doing more important shit than that. And I wouldn't even like not even like I was the backup sniper or whatever. It's just like I had a better rifle score
You knew
than other
how to
people
shoot.
did.
Yeah, you did say that. You did say
Yeah.
that. You did say that.
Yeah, but it was cool. It had a big scope on it, but it didn't have any nighttime capability. I wouldn't have been able to shoot it at night. So I had to carry both. So I had the Mark 12 and then I carried an M4 too. And the M4 is nice. I kind of like it. It's like a smaller M16 kind of.
And that's the M4s,
It's like just the
the
regular.
common. Everybody got this.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
Okay. Yeah, I always wanted to. Like, you see, different dudes with different weapons.
No, I mean everybody has the same
But
shit.
the majority, everybody got the same shit.
Yeah. The people have M4s, and every platoon has somebody with a saw. It's like a machine gun,
Mm.
and that's it. Everybody else has M4s.
Sidearm, no sidearm. Was that necessary?
No, lieutenants and the medics, docs
Did
have
they
pistols.
Did they have sidearms in Vietnam?
Probably,
Sidearm,
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be necessary. I mean, all the
Yeah, I
ammo
don't know,
you
they
got.
probably, it's probably the same thing. Probably officers and medics did probably. But yeah, everybody else. Team leaders have a grenade launcher underbarrel on their M4.
So you got to be a
One of
certain
those Call of Duty things. Yeah.
certain level even to have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's only one of those on each team.
Just one?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, you think everybody would have that motherfucker there?
Yeah, you'd think, but
Give everybody one of them.
yeah, that'd be. Yeah, so most everybody just has an M4. But
Yeah, you always see that in the
Yeah,
movies
yeah,
where
it's
just
pretty-
everybody got something different of their own. It's
yeah.
like,
Well, I think
"Ah."
in like Navy SEALs and shit, I think they can like pick
Carry anything.
what they want. But yeah, we at the level I was at, it's here. This is your purple fucking M4.
Purple. Damn.
Yeah, it was actually I kind of miss it, dude. It's actually kind of dope. It's kind of cool. I'd love to have that still.
Mark IV. I don't know what that is.
M4s, yeah.
M4. I don't know what that is.
I mean, you've seen it.
I've probably seen it.
You just don't realize you've seen
Probably
it.
just don't realize.
Like if you imagine a dude holding like an American soldier with a gun, that's probably the one you imagine.
Okay.
It looks exactly like the M16.
Okay, M16 always comes to mind.
Yeah, they look like that, except they're just a little bit smaller, and
Okay.
they have a collapsible barrel,
Which
or
were
a
made
collapsible
by
stock.
fucking Mattel, a toy company. Did
Who?
you know that?
What were?
The M16, the main body of the M16 in the Vietnam era was made by Mattel. And
Did not know
Mattel in my day was a toy company, like board games and Lincoln Logs and all that shit. I think it was even plastic.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think
Did
that
not know
was
that.
where the trigger and all that. I don't know what you call that shit, but yeah, all that was made by Mattel, a
But-
toy company.
Well, yeah, so the M4 I could shoot at night, and the Mark 12 I couldn't, so I had to carry both. So I had I would walk around with an M4 strapped to my
So
back.
you had both them shits at one time?
Yeah, so I'd have the M4 strapped to my back during the day, and I would walk around with the Mark 12 forward. And then if it started getting dark, I would have to switch. Which only had, like, I don't know. I guess we were out after dark quite a bit. It was probably a good idea to make me carry both, for real. But, yeah, the shooting at night thing's pretty high-tech, actually. I mean, it's not that high-tech, probably, but it feels really high-tech. Because we have these, lasers, the red dots, the
Right.
red dot laser, like in movies, like the dude has like a laser pointer pointed
In
at
the
him.
scope.
Yeah, yeah. But uh, those aren't that good because you can see it, you know. So like everybody knows you're pointing a gun at them or whatever. But at night,
I
the
always said that.
the night vision goggles, the nods, they can see infrared light. So we would use an infrared laser. So there would be a laser on you, but you couldn't see it, but we could all see it. It was actually pretty cool. Doing night ranges was pretty sweet. Like you don't have to aim down the sights at all at night because it was all using the laser. So you would just look through. So you'd have your night vision on your non-dominant side, and you would just lift your gun up, and you could just see your laser like
Everything just falls right
yeah, it
into
looked like
place.
it looked like Star Wars.
Damn.
Yeah, it's just these bright green lasers
I
everywhere.
see you.
Yeah, and you're just like bang 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 bang.
You don't see me.
Yeah, night ranges were really fun, actually. Night ranges were cool.
I bet. I mean, just like the penitentiary, it had to be some time.
Yeah.
Where he was like,
Yeah, the night vision makes your helmet really heavy, so like you're like the whole time you're like trying to pull it up and fix it and shit. But
that shit works.
other than that, it's pretty cool.
Exactly how it looks. It's exactly how it looks. Exactly how you think it would look.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything's all green.
That's some spooky shit right there, boy.
Yeah, and they don't really like the special forces and shit, like Navy SEALs and all that stuff. They have those cool ones with like there's like 4 eyes on them, you know. That'll come all the way
down by themselves.
come
and
all
shit.
the way down and shit. But ours is just a little monocle thing. So so at night when you're looking through it, you don't have any depth perception because you're only looking one eye because you can't see shit. So we were still like we were walking. I don't remember what the fuck we were doing. We were walking somewhere at night, and there were these like just holes in the ground. I don't know what the fuck was going on. It was some kind of natural formation where the ground had just formed a bunch of dips and valleys and shit. And I was on the rear for this one, and I was just it was pitch black, and I was trying to look at everybody through my night vision, and I could only see like probably 6 or 7 people in front of me because we walk with so much space between us.
Right.
So if a bomb goes off, only one guy gets hit.
Right.
So we have a ton of space, so I can't see more than 6 or 7 guys in front of me, and there's like 18 of us. So I like by the time from the front to the back, this convoy of people's got to be like a half mile long, with all the space we put in between us. So I can't see anything, but the 6 or 7 people in front of me, I just see them like just disappearing, like, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I keep walking. This was in California. This wasn't in Afghanistan or anything. So I keep walking and I hear somebody just like help me, help. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, where did everybody go? And I walk up to this hole and this dude's just like, he's like, hey, get me out of here, dude. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck was up with the ground over there, but there's just a bunch of like big dips that you could just fall into.
That was
and none
in
of it,
Cali?
Yeah, and like I was like in Camp Pendleton. But none of us could see him. I mean, they weren't like huge holes. It was hard for him to get out because he was full kitted and stuff.
What the fuck?
But yeah, so it's not like they were falling into fucking booby traps. They were just little like dips in the ground everybody was falling into. But yeah, they were just disappearing. I was like, fuck, I can't see shit. And I'm like alone now. Like I have no idea where anybody is. But they were all
That shit was a trip.
Yeah, they were all in these little holes.
Yeah, I bet that shit was a trip.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. You got good stuff on that list. That was a good question.
Yeah, man. So shit.
Talked about that for like a half hour.
Yeah. I needed to ask that. Like I said, I watch a lot of other shows, man, and nobody ever asked that question. Like, how long was it after you landed?
Yeah, not very. In Afghanistan, it was probably like a month later, but just because it took a couple weeks to get to where we were actually going.
For me, well, shit, I guess first time I ever seen somebody asked me this the other day, and I wrote it down. When was the first time I ever seen somebody shanked in the penitentiary? How long had I been there?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't really remember how long I had been there. I can't tell if it was a week or a month. But the first time, and I actually had a minor run-in with the guy.
Imagine it was your first day, dude.
Wasn't oh man, I guess I do have a story for the first day.
I mean, and after that, I got one about my first day in the fleet too. Actually,
I do got one about my first day, but I'll go with the first time I ever seen a dude get hit. Like it ain't like the movies. Like very rarely did I see shit like actually happen on the yard. If you saw it happen on the yard, it was two dudes. They had to. It had to happen right there. It was just two dudes. You didn't see like a gang over here. That shit would be stopped before it even began. Most of the time, you see shit. It's in the chow hall because that's where everybody is. You talking probably 800, maybe 1,000 motherfuckers in a chow hall at one time, and that's when shit would pop off. But this particular time, I was in the gym, and my big homie was in there and knew that I played some ball, so let me borrow some sneakers, so I could get a couple runs in. I think I had played a few games already. Man, I was sitting on the bench, and I was untying the sneakers. I was about to give them back to the homie. So I'm sitting there with no shoes on, vulnerable than a motherfucker. But I'm green, so I ain't tripping. You know what I mean? Everybody's like giving me props because I play basketball and shit. And I see all the little essays, because there's a weight pile in the gym. There's 3 weight piles in the penitentiary. And if it's hot or real cold, the weight pile in the gym is going to be real packed. It's going to be real deep over there. You got to watch yourself over there. So they got these cups. They call them tumblers. Like I said, everything you own in the penitentiary has to be clear. Your TV, your CD player, your clippers, your headphones, everything's in a clear casing, so you can't hide nothing in it. So what I thought was water, everybody working out, you go to the drink fountain, get you some water in your cup, And in the penitentiary, you can only move. They call it doors every hour on the hour. 5 till you got till 5 till 5 after to make your movement. So the gym doors back then, they were solid. They eventually put glass on the gym doors. But I see this big ass dude. I won't say his name. The dude's very well known from Lincoln, Omaha. I won't say his name. I don't want to do that. But big motherfucker, man. I'm talking 6'9", probably $4. Leader of the Bloods up in Omaha. So I see all the SAs walking around him. No big deal. They all drinking their water. They just came off the weight pile. Usually you work in crews. The white dudes will have 4 or 5 dudes on their crew. The brothers, then the SAs, what I mean? Nobody, no less than 3 apiece on the weight pile at a time. I mean, 2 dudes might be just looking out while the other 3 work out. Then they get done. Then they switch. You know what I mean? It goes down like that. So I hear the horn, doors, and they pop the doors. Well, I see all the SAs throw the water at big homie's feet. Like I said, it's not water. It's baby oil. So homeboy can't move. Slipping and sliding. There's probably, without exaggerating, there's probably about 7 or 8 of them. I couldn't see what they was hitting him with. But I remember all the little maroon dots on his T-shirt. They might have hit that dude maybe 100 times. Just all of them just hitting him. All of them just hitting him, dog. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck am I seeing? But one thing about that big motherfucker, man, he never fell. That dude never hit the ground. He took all 100 of them holes in his body like a goddamn champion, man. It was just baby oil and blood everywhere on the fucking floor. Blood ain't red like you think. That shit was maroon like a motherfucker, man. That was the first time I ever seen a dude shank. Probably disappeared off of the yard maybe a year and came back to the yard walking around and shit.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Good for him, man.
That dude did 10 years for a murder, got out, committed another fucking murder, and came back and did another 10. But I think he eventually he's doing a life sentence right now. But I seen that dude get hit 100 times.
Something like that happens to you, do they let you out sooner?
What, get shanked?
Yeah.
Oh fuck no! They'll just send you to the infirmary to heal up, and you about to come back and do this time.
Well, do they take that into account, like in a review, like what's it called when you're up for parole or something? Like, do they take that into account? Like, man, he got stabbed 100 times.
There was this dude. I'll say his name. I'll just use his first name. His name was Roscoe. I don't know how old this dude was, but he was the dude that knew everything about the penitentiary back when the penitentiary was still East and West Cell House.
Mm.
You know, back when it was still bars and shit, right? This dude had been cut. He was a hitman. And one particular one particular time I ended up in the shower with him, right? And you ain't trying to look, just like, you're around each other every day, you know what I'm saying? And I remember I kind of just looked, and like this dude's body was just ripped the fuck up. And I'm not talking about like working out, like to be a hitman, you take shit too. You can see where this dude had been shot. Somebody looked like somebody took a knife and just I was like, holy fucking shit. Well, this old man just kept like falling out. He would fall out here, fall out there, get sick, and just, they was, I think the rumor was, up to about $250,000 worth of surgeries on this old man.
Damn.
Yeah, because he's in prison. This dude got heavy time. He was a hitman. Well, eventually, the dude just never came back. We thinking Roscoe then passed away. He was already old. Man, Roscoe's on the fucking streets. They kicked Roscoe out because they got tired of paying for all them fucking surgeries. Yeah, dog. So that's one that I know of.
So I guess kind of.
Then there was we used to call him Boot Mouth. Looked like he had a cowboy boot in his mouth. Like I think he had cancer. It might have been HIV or one of the other. Like the dude was literally a walking dead man. Like you could smell him dying. Like yeah, you could smell it. It was after lockdown, I'm pretty sure. After they call it lockdown, then there's deadlock. After deadlock, like, and this is what's fucked up about deadlock. A dude, the guard could be looking in the fucking cell and dudes in there shanking the fuck out of somebody. After deadlock, they ain't cracking the doors. They ain't cracking the doors till 6 a.m. So dude's just gonna be laying in here with a bloody corpse until 6 a.m. because it's after deadlock.
Like Squid Game.
Right. So there's that. I'm pretty sure it was after lockdown. And like I said, we used to call them the Smokies. And when you see the Smokies, it's the state patrolman. LPD don't come to the penitentiary because it's a state facility. So when you see the Smokies come across the yard, they coming to arrest somebody, usually staff. And I've seen that happen several times. But you see the Smokies coming, you're like, oh shit, something happened. Somebody, maybe the feds, another case then popped up on you, and they're coming to rearrest you, to rebook you. Then they'll bring you back to prison. Well, they was coming to get Boot Mouth, man. Boot Mouth was probably 10 minutes from dying, and fucking kicked him out because they didn't want him to die in there.
Damn.
So that's two times that I've ever seen.
You ain't dying here.
You ain't dying in here. We ain't paying for that shit, dog. You gotta get the fuck up out of here. That's 2 times where I've seen dudes get released probably way before they should have been.
Damn.
I can't remember what year it was. I think about 2011. And maybe you remember this, maybe you don't. But there was over 1,000 prison inmates released on accident. Do you remember that? Did you know about that?
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah,
actually.
I thought I was one of them. I thought I was one of them. I was calling fucking every day. Ask my wife, bro. I was like, yo, this shit. But I remember riding down the street and shit, right? Seeing dudes on the bus stop, seeing dudes walk down the sidewalk, dudes driving and shit. This dude ain't drove a car in 30 fucking years. Dudes that should never have been out of fucking prison ever was on the streets for about 6 months, dog. Lincoln just don't know how fucking dangerous it was for those 6 months, man.
Damn.
I'm serious. I'm like, this dude got bodies right here, man. This dude got bodies sitting on there on the bus stop. I'm like, man, this dude will kill you. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, Nebraska fucked up that time, man. Yeah, that was a scary time for me.
Damn.
Over 1,000 inmates, man. They had that shit so hush hush.
I do remember hearing
Some dudes turned themselves back in. I think there was about 3 or 4 dudes like, fuck that, I'm running. They found one dude up in the mountains of fucking Wyoming and shit. But I thought I was one of them. But I had a flat number. I beat the habitual criminal, which would have been a flat 10 years in Nebraska. They call it. They got a little habitual and a big habitual. Little bitch in Nebraska's 10 flat. Big bitch is 25 to life.
Damn.
Right. So I beat
I
beat the little bitch. And Nebraska usually gives you got a bottom number and you got a top number. So they can give you a 1 to 5. A 0 to 5, they can give you a 1 to 5. A 0 to 20, they can give you 1 to 20. A 0 to 50, they can give you anything from 1 to 50, 20 to 50, 49 to 50. It just depends. You know what I mean? So me beating the habitual criminal after being in prison twice before was kind of like, oh, you motherfucker. So he gave me a flat 5, which meant I wasn't getting no parole. So I had to do the whole flat 5 on that shit. It was kind of like a. Then they sent me to Tecumseh. I think I told this story before. I knew this dude, his name was Schaefer. I won't say his first name, but we grew up together. Play sports and shit and all that shit. And he was a prison guard. I remember them telling me Wilkins. It was Tecumseh Day, and I'm in my cell in D&E. Like, I hope they don't fucking call my name. Don't fucking call my name. Don't Wilkinson Tecumseh. So I was like, fuck. I was mad as shit because I didn't want to go to Tecumseh. Tecumseh, man, we call Tecumseh Island. Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Tecumseh wasn't no fucking joke, man. So I got all my shit bagged up, leaning against the yellow line, waiting to get transferred, and I look over at Schaefer like, if I knock this dude out, they'll take me to the hole in LCC. And if you go to the hole in LCC, they'll just keep you there. They won't even transfer you because you're just already there. Because I didn't want to leave Lincoln. But I liked Schaefer, man. Schaefer was cool. I knew Schaefer since he was 8 years old, man. I was like, I can't
But you were
just
thinking
sock
about
him.
it.
I was about to sock homie. He didn't even know it. Dog. I was about to break his whole jaw just so I could go to the hole in one prison and stay in Lincoln.
Do you wish you would have done that?
Nah, I'm glad I didn't do it.
Do you regret not doing that?
I'm glad I didn't do it.
Do you think he would have been cool about it?
Who, Schaefer?
Yeah.
Nah.
Do you think he would have been like, I get it?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was a thing.
Mm.
You know, it was a thing. Not usually a guard, usually other inmates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you know.
Kind of like dudes that hurt themselves to not deploy.
Right. Same
Yeah.
fucking thing. Same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Dudes.
Except hurting somebody else doesn't really help you.
It doesn't help you.
Yeah. Dudes were like breaking their own feet and shit.
Don't know this dude's name, but they call it getting 5-pointed. When you get 5-pointed in prison, like, it's major shit. And what that means is tied down here, both legs, and your head. So you can't, shit like that. So this dude was like a master at getting fucking 5-pointed. You know what I mean? And I think he was like a sexual predator or something. Didn't want to go to Gen Pop.
Yeah, probably not.
Right, and he was a serial mother, one of them, just a demon, right? So didn't want to go. So it was self-mutilation. Like, this dude was in there, like, put like, and it was just the stupidest shit. Like, you don't get no shoelaces, you don't get a belt, like nothing like that where you can hurt yourself. But nobody was thinking fucking celery. You know what I'm saying? So they give you your tray through the hatch, and this dude was peeling like the little fibers off the celery, putting it into his dickhead and shit. Would drink the water in the cell and shit, jump up and down, like for hours, bro. They said this dude would like shift. This dude would just be drink water and just shit and piss all over the cell, to where they had to keep him up in the hospital.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's dedication, man.
The dedication like a motherfucker. So I'm like, man, ain't no man. Y'all might well just send him to the goddamn regional center. But the dude wasn't crazy.
Man, that's wild. I can see that my phone is over there about to die. So that seems like a good place to call it, I guess, with celery dick.
Celery dick, dog.
I can't even. I don't like to think about that.
The dude was dedicated.
I don't like to think about that. Yeah, this episode got a little heavy, but that's good. Those some good topics, man.
Hell yeah.
For real, yeah.
We're gonna keep it rolling.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what else you got, dude.
We got some guests lined up.
Yeah.
Got some dope guests lined up.
Cool.
Yeah, we going in.
Yeah, big things, everybody. Tell your friends. Don't forget to tell your friends. Like, comment, subscribe, review, follow, whatever you do on the app that you consume our content on. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Videos are on YouTube and Spotify. I think that's it. I already said tell your friends. I already told you to subscribe. We've been watching 1,000-Pound Sisters. They have a YouTube channel, and they're always like, don't forget.
Didn't one lose weight?
They both did now.
They both did.
Um, but they have a YouTube channel and they're always like, "Don't forget to subscribe." So I've started saying subscribe a little bit
That's that
in our
Midwestern.
videos too. A little bit of a little Easter egg for everybody. But anyways, thanks for listening. As always, hope you liked the conversation, and I hope you guys have a great week.
Holla.